comprehensive future stories.
Today is 20th July, 5 months to the end of this year. And the same day our Muslim brothers are celebrating their Eid Mubarak holiday. That's why in our show today we don't have Mr. Hassan Abdul because of that celebration. And in my panel today, this is a rematch. In our panel today we have Mr. Defiant Undire in my right. In the middle is Omondio Law and Gabriel Okola in the Defiant. Welcome guys to the show.
Thank you.
It's merely 1 week since high school and primary schools were closed, and today they are expected back just in a week's time. Do you think this is time enough for the learners to relax their mind and to get back to the school, and for the parents too who are responsible for their fees to collect themselves and get them back to school? Or do you think government is too fast for the two parties? I will start from the other end.
Thank you so much for re-inviting into this important show. I want to say that if we start with the parents, back then when we had the corona pandemic, it was all over the media when parents were pushing the government to reopen the school so that the students can go back. Due to one, the misconduct of the students, high level of immoralities, and they were saying that it is high time the government should open the school so that the students can go back. A good parent during that period was to prepare well, both financially and in any other way, to ensure that he contained his or her student in school in whichever condition. Two, to the students, I believe that if you're really ready to learn, then you should be ready at any point to be in class. To the teachers, I think it is the best moment, because I'm one of the people who believe in the Holy Book, with the Bible, and the Bible says that those who don't work should not eat. But our government has been so lenient with the teachers, and we'll find that they are even being paid when they're in holiday. So just a minute. So they should also, if they have to complain due to the squeezed time, they should also complain when they're being given salary, even when they are not working. Thank you.
Get it right. Mr. Ondire, is 1 week time enough? For Gabriel, that is time enough for students who are ready to learn, they can just learn. For parents, they should have prepared earlier. What is your take?
Okay, thank you for the invite. For the student and parents, I think there must be complaints, but praise and blame are all the same. So however much 1 week is not short, but it's going to be enough for them, my take, I must also advocate for them. One, I think 1 week might be enough for a parent who is heavily loaded, or a parent who is overburdened by the social vices these children are going through. The same way as Gabriel has said, that during the pandemics, during the holidays, there's a total mess in the villages. Peer influence, immorality, theft cases. So, but we must also consider these parents, not their hand, both hands are equal. They are not equal. So 1 week is not enough for a peasant. 1 week is not enough for a single parent. 1 week is not enough for a widow. But for the sake of calendar, whereby a system, or not system, but the government is trying to reach their goals that by 2024, the calendar should just be the same as it used to be. 1 week is enough for them. So it's a race between calendar, a race between to end social vices, a race to keep the student on toes, and a race to also keep the nature balance.
What is your take, Mr. Law?
Thank you very much. I first of all want to appreciate you and thank you for inviting me to such an important debate for serious issues. Secondly, I want to wish my Muslim brothers and sisters a happy Eid Mubarak. It's quite an opportunity for them to celebrate this day. Back to the point. And I also wish you quick recovery.
Thank you.
and back to the point. 1 week actually is not enough for a break, but we have to consider situations. You see, it is always said at crisis points you need to adjust. And it is not a normal situation for students to go back to school after 1 week if it is a holiday. But because of the situation around, they need to go back to school. Remember in 2020, students were sent home 20th March 2020. I remember that quite well. Students were sent home. Then they were at home for as long as up to around November. That was a long period of time they were at home. So when they were called back to school, at least the system needs to be adjusted so that by 2023 we get to the former, rather the system that we are used to be using for the 844 system. So for the 1 week holiday, I have no problem with it. My advice would be, I would advise our parents, I would advise our teachers, and majorly the students to really know the reasons as to why we are having an holiday for 1 week. We are trying to beat time. Remember, students were home for more than 5 months. They're just resting. So when they're told to come back to school after a period of 1 week, it is important for them because they lost some time during the corona period.
It is a recovery time.
It is a recovery time. And therefore, during recovery time, you have to adjust. I know we are always told when it becomes harder, you need to be more harder. We are in the harder times. So the students need to be more harder. The parents need to be more harder. The teachers obviously need to be more. And once they're more harder, we're going to beat the time.
So it's now time for recovery. That's why everything should be in place.
Actually, it is recovery time.
To leave matters opening and reopening aside, we have a new curriculum which was brought to place in 2017. That is CBC. And earlier we had 844, and before 844 there was another system. The first system was dropped by the government because maybe it was not suiting the job market. Then they brought in 844. Later on they realized this 844 is not benefiting the students, or rather there's a larger population which has now of the graduates which fit the job market. I mean, do you see future in this CBC? To start with you, Mr. Olo.
I see a lot of future.
Okay.
You see, we are told always we need to rise to the occasion. And rising to the occasion means when situation is left, if left is positive, find yourself in the left. At independence, we were fighting ignorance. Sure. And therefore education was brought for us by the whites, the British, that is. Those are the colonizers of this country. So when they brought education when the country was still so much illiterate. And therefore the kind of system they were bringing in place was an accommodative system that would accommodate the larger population. As we went on, we got to advance. And in advancement, you need to bring new things. New changes happens. And if you look at society, each and every day new things come in place. And when new things are coming in place, your brain widens. And when your brain widens, you need not to look at things on black and white. You need to begin looking at things on the broader prospect, the seven colors of the rainbow. You look at it this way and you analyze it that way. You come to the red color, you analyze it in the red color. You don't only look at it on the white and
So
black.
for you there is future in CBC.
A lot of future in here.
Okay. So the system of 844 was for getting a job. CBC, you see, creating jobs. That is it?
What I can say, 844 is bringing a lot of theoretical work.
Okay.
Theoretical work. You do a lot of theory. You are told this tree is green and you don't know which color is green. The CBC, it brings a lot of practicality. It brings a lot of what do we call when we go to the labs and do practicals. It brings the practical work because you see our children, they go to the streets, they sweep. We see our teachers today, they're told when you're teaching in class, when something is under the table, you appear like you're going under the table. When something is on top of the chair, you appear like you're picking something on top of the chair. It brings the sense of practicality. The sense of practicality. So when you go to the field, the job market, as much as you have the theoretical knowledge, but you can be left in the labs, do this. And you do it minus referring to the book. Because
there is future in CBC.
Thank you.
The take.
My take is that in Kenya, Africa, when we talk about leadership politics, we love trying adventures. We love leaving legacy. That during my reign, I invented this. During my reign, I came up with such an idea. So when the first system was dropped, 844 is being dropped. They are coming again with CBC. I'm pretty sure in the next government, in the next regime, they'll love another adventure. Take for example, CBC.
Is there future in CBC?
There is no future. This is something that might end soon, or all of the people will be undergoing this. Not all of them will be equipped according to facilities. Facilities won't favor everybody. The nature of the school, or where you are coming from. Not everybody will be accessing lab. Not everybody will do the same practical that other people are doing. Others will be sweeping. Others will be dancing. Others will be doing things that are just basic. That even if you don't go to school, you just learn from them. So I don't see future. Just an adventure that soon might change, or soon people will realize that there's no any other difference that it has brought. So I don't see future here.
You see future in CBC? The idea behind it, do you support the idea behind it?
One thing I want you to know is that we are undergoing revolution. And even for the children, there's an age, the child doesn't need the pampers anymore. Meaning there is a change, a progressive change. For the CBC, personally, I'm 100% into it. Because one, somebody or some people like us who passed through the 844 system, we even did some subjects which I can tell you today that are not helping. I am a good student of psychology, and one of the reasons we found that is lagging our country behind is our system of education. At high school level, we learn a lot of subjects which is not going to help you to reach your career, your professional career. So I feel that the idea of specializing in one thing you have interest in that is being brought by the CBC is the perfect idea.
Don't you think a man should be informed, should have a vast knowledge in different genres? Must it just be in common music? It's just music alone. Don't you think you need to explore other avenues too?
Actually, I do feel that you should have interest in what is important and leave what is not important.
Can I interrupt that?
We have selection.
Yeah. If you have
Our future is not promised. Somewhere I read that life does not assignment to find our own routes to our destination. So however much I'm learning chemistry, biology, I don't know what I'm going to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
So knowledge is power. So when I've been having knowledge, I'm capable of doing anything. Rather than forcing me or narrowing it down to music, what if there will be no job? I won't be on market. So it means I'll be lacking some knowledge. So skills is different from knowledge. Have knowledge. Whenever you have knowledge, you can yourself create a company. You can yourself go to a certain opportunity, rather than telling me that I should be having this basic skill. If the government we are having today, they are a product of 844, what makes them think that we can't also be having people who will be better than them, who have undergone the same process? This is just an adventure.
Okay.
Summarily, CBC is competency-based curriculum.
That is it in full. What is about it?
If you check your Oxford dictionary and look at the meaning of competency, you'll get to know what really these people mean. You need to be competent. You need to have information, knowledge, idea. It appears like most of us don't understand the CBC thing. We have junior secondary, we have senior secondary, and we have primary and the kindergarten staff. You see all these levels that we pass through to finish the CBC curriculum. We learn the simple nitty-gritties stuffs of education. And Kenya is a developing country. We have developed countries. A country like United States of America, a country like Britain, a country like China. Look at US. At the age of 15, somebody can find their ways and make a nice car, and they drive along the streets. You see, we are ambitious people. We look at people who are ahead of us. If we insist on something that lags us behind, as much as it is good, but it is lagging us behind, Why must we stay on something that is lagging us behind? We need to move so fast to the extent that by the time you know between good and bad, you can do good and bad. Not that you know good and bad, but you can't do good and bad. What do I mean? I mean, at the age of 7, I know that I'm not supposed to kill. I'm not supposed to abuse, but I'm supposed to go to church. I'm supposed to read the Bible. But really, do I read the Bible? I don't, because when with the current system we have, I sit like this. My friend Okola or Defiant will be reading for me the Bible as I listen. He interprets for me the Bible as I listen. He'll be giving me his idea of the Bible as I listen. But the CBC thing, at the tender age, will be giving me an opportunity to do it for myself, to have the skills within me.
I see your colleague want to interject. What is
some competency is a virtue. Why should I undergo from PP1, PP2 for I to be competent? Competence is a virtue. Number 2, if I want to make a car, in Kenya, do we have that company? Do we have that resources?
That is what the government is up to now. It is not there, but
it is just, that's why I said it is an adventure that will fail. Most probably it will fail. Or
what about it if it works?
Okay, it will work, but not for everyone. So the reason, the reason why I'm trying to oppose it, we should have vast knowledge, and 844 system was providing that vast knowledge.
I wish he was prone to news. When Raila just jetted from Dubai, when Raila came to the country, Raila said, as the situation stands today, we need to have a country that we're having our own products.
That is politics.
He was talking of companies. You can't have companies minus skills. Skills need to come first, then we have the companies. So we need to acquire the skills. After acquiring the skills, we reach a situation whereby now we have the skills. We are forward. Let us have the companies. Let us have the factories. But in a situation where we have the factories, we have no skills, we have no manpower, we have no money.
Let me ask you a question. A minute, not even a minute. It's just 30 seconds. I want to plant flowers, or I want to plant tea. Should I plant first, or I ensure that there is a ready market?
First of all, before you plant trees, you need to know that this tree, the kind of soil that
Answer my question. No, leave alone the soil. Leave alone the soil.
I'm giving you the procedure.
I understand, but let's hear from him. Then
first of all, you will have to tame the two men here. They are taking a lot of my time. 2, I want to say that what is the essence? I want to ask Kundiri, what is the essence of marrying very many wives if you are sure you are only going to take care of one? I feel, according to me, you should only marry one wife whom you are able to take care of well and feed her well. The 844 system was giving us an opportunity to do a lot of things when we are only going to specialize in one at a later stage. How I feel that we can focus on that thing you have interest in at an early stage so that you gain enough.
This is now a thing to ponder of, I think, for all of you.
Yes.
As much as we are embracing CBC, it's a good thing, and for some people they develop slowly, and they may not decide for themselves what they want to do in life at an early age. Maybe they realize they want to be journalists later when in life, after the exposure. They lack exposure, they don't know what they are up to in life. So giving us a class 3 or a 15-year-old to do like the US does, it may be a big challenge anyway. I would want to discuss this now. Kenyan population is made up of very many youths, right? And most of them in crimes and drugs. This one must have talked about it earlier. Because of there is no employment. If I can give you just some few minutes to exhaust the opportunities for youth instead of waiting for the political handouts, what can our youth do to better our economy? If I can start with you, Mr. Defiant.
Me again, okay.
No, you don't have to worry about it.
There are 2 ways. One, being independent. 2, empowerment. Empowerment comes first. So youth should be empowered, and youth should be independent to avoid over-dependence.
I think, just to interject a little bit, empowerment starts with education. You are educated, you are informed, you know everything. But now, in a situation where they still wait for the handouts, they still wait for networks to get to the job market. So we want you to exhaust with us, to help us exhaust the opportunities available for youths at this digital age. Maybe instead of waiting for the handouts, they can create something for themselves.
It would have been better if after undergoing education
Yes, please.
or empowerment or having the knowledge, then we have our own umbrella as youths. But nowadays, just as like we agreed the other day, we are having people moving around in media that they are youth leaders. But these people meet in hotels. They meet there in parliament. They discuss their own things that they are representing youth. There is no grassroots. So if we can recruit our youth from the ground, then we form our own umbrella. Then the funds get utilized. I may have a project, but I don't have funds. I don't have ready markets.
One of the umbrellas is electing leadership, because you are very many in the country.
No,
Creating a leadership, can that be?
leave alone leadership. We just form a community-based organization. It from community, leave alone at the capital. Youth, we just form an umbrella from the community. We are 50 of us coming from the rural areas. Then we utilize the locally available resources. We form our own umbrella, whereby we don't have a patron who is a politician. We don't have our leader who is at the capital. We are just doing things from local grounds, from local roots.
Good idea.
That is what can help us, help our youths to be empowered, to be independent. Then we'll forget about the handouts.
Okay. Financial freedom for youths. What do you think of it?
Our youths have a lot of opportunities. They have a lot of things that they can do in the society. First of all, for someone to be independent, you need to have the skills. You need to have the skills. And still, skills go with some sense of education. And go with some sense of talent. And it goes with some sense of wisdom given by God. You see, at the young age, you have things that you're born within you. But somebody needs to whip that skill or need to whip that talent to grow. Because at that age, you're not still sure of what the future holds for you. Today, as we're speaking, youths have a lot of things to do. For example, we have agribusiness. Agribusiness, first of all, it will come from the brain. You need to sit down and think that I live in Suba. Suba, we have a lake. What can I do with this lake to generate income? Before I think of somebody needs to give me money to do something, first of all, I need to sit from where I am. My available resource is the lake. In Suba South, we have Roma National Park. In Suba South, we have fertile soil. What can I do with all these resources that I have? First of all, I can engage in fishing. I can engage in agriculture. I can engage in when the tourists come around. I can also have my projects here. I can keep kuku. I can keep other stuff. I can have my small fish pond, so that when tourists comes around, as much as they'll be going to Ruma National Park, but at least they'll be told there's some young man by the name of Mondiolo. He has some small fish pond there. That small fish pond have different kinds of fish. There's tilapia there. In Luo we call it ngege, one of the most sweet fish around, and very expensive. They'll come there, they take some fish, I sell them that fish, I get income. When I go to our small markets, I can have my car wash there. We have, today we have piki, we have vehicles, and it's raining, you know. I can have my automobile. Yeah, automobile. I can have my car wash there. As much as I don't have resources, I don't have money to go and buy the engines for washing the vehicles, the piki, I can have my super drum there. I can have my small container. I can buy powder soap or the kapanga one. Some people call it kata, the soap, the solid one. I have it there. I have my washing stuff. I wash the piki, I get the 50 shillings. I'm getting income. Once I'm doing this, I'll be whipping the leaders there. I'll be telling them they're sleeping. When they come back to this market, they'll be seeing me doing my stuff. When I go to them, I need some money, I need some empowerment. Indeed, they'll be saying, this is a creative student, this is a creative youth, let me pump some money there. youths need to form organizations. We need to form youth groups. We have youth and gender ministry that have resources for the youth. But because of ignorance, because of lack of knowledge, because of lack of information, we don't exhaust what is there for us.
Okay.
Thank you.
So there's a lot of opportunities for youth.
Exactly.
For Ondile, CBOs can do best.
CBO can do best.
Youth groups exhaust the available local resources and all this. We will take a short break, friends, and when we get back, we'll get the side of Mr. Gabriel Okola. Taking a short break here from the panel talk. My name is Samson Otieno. Thank you for keeping it here on the panel talk here in the Ocean News. We are jumping right into the second bit of this show. Now it was your turn, Mr. Gabriel Okola. What was your take on youth and financial freedom? That was it.
Thank you so much, Sam. Actually, youth being neglected has been the slogan of our country. One writer, Chinua Achebe, in one of his books called There is a Country, reminds me of something. Chinua insists that when I, Gabriel Okola, takes a pen and a paper, ready to pen my article, then must I note at any given moment, write in favor of the oppressed, and that must not glorify the bad. And therefore, I'm not going to handle the youth with a soft gloves today, and that does not necessarily mean I'm going to support the government.
All right.
One thing I want to tell you is this. Then before, I can say that our government neglected the youth, just as it has been said. But from 2010, since the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution, I want to tell you that our current Constitution takes care of our youth. And the name youth has been mentioned in that Constitution 9 times. If you check,
9 times.
9 times. Article 21 actually acknowledges the fact that the youth is one of the 3 vulnerable groups in Kenya, including the people living with disabilities and the women. Chapter 27 obligates the government to actually give tenders to the 30% of the tenders, plus at Article 55, the 30% of the tenders. And today, if you talk about age in Kenya, according to Article 27, then you are going to do what we call discrimination, which is against the law. So the youth have been taken care of by our Constitution. What we lack as youth is one. Our youth are not showing up. Our youth are not aggressive, and our youth are not up to the task.
They want to be soft-fed.
Actually, yesterday, by God's grace, I happened to visit Moi University Procurement Office. And when I asked Mr. Bett, because according to the Constitution, there should be a 30% tender for just the vulnerable group. And when I asked Mr. Bett that is Moi University meeting the threshold of this
That provision.
That provision, he told me that, Okola, I want to be frank with you, we have not been meeting the 30% target. Why? Because our youth are not taking part in such. How many people today knows that they can even supply foodstuffs, they can even supply the stationery to our university? Nobody. They lack the knowledge. Two, I can say that our youth are jobless because they want. Today, if you ask our youth that how many of you are reading magazines, they won't tell you. How many of you are watching news? And where do you want to get the advertisements if you're not reading the magazines, if you're not even listening to the news, and you are there saying you are jobless? The government cannot walk from each and every home asking for those who are not having what? Those who are not having jobs. It is we, the youth, who must show up. We show the interest that indeed we are fit for a given opportunity, then we will be given that opportunity.
So it is
But
the
if
youth-
we are relaxed, then we will continue lamenting and saying that the government is not helping us when we all have what we should be doing and we have refused
So
to.
for a call that is youth have all it takes to do the task, but
Yes.
they are not aggressive enough to take the task.
Let me tell you something. We have,
Just in a second.
in a second, we have the AGPO, access to government procurement opportunities. We have the WESO funds. We have the Youth Enterprise Development Funds.
Kazi mtaani.
How many youths are showing up for this? We are sitting back, relaxing, waiting for the government. We must show up first and stop sabotaging our own opportunities. Thank you.
Your interjection.
Yeah,
Or your other question.
why must we always blame youths? He has talked about Moi procurement office. After going there, did you make communication? You did not. There are so many people who doesn't know that such exist.
Who should give them information now?
The person who should give the information, one, is the leaders that we have, or two, I also blame government and I also blame system, I also blame all the leadership that we have. When there is an office that is so much concerned about, plus in Kenya, what I can say, we have got very good policies with poor implementation. Articles up there talking about money, talking about WESO fund, they are poorly implemented. So when there is a certain office that is there, why can't that office employ even 2 youths or 3 to be doing grassroots campaigns, to be visiting communities, that there is this one they advertise? Why must it just be limited that you must go there? Why should I go there? I don't know.
It was mentioned earlier that these are on the article in the newspapers, they are on television. they
Do
are-
everybody access newspaper? Do everyone access TV?
There's something.
when you want something.
Some 1 minute. Sam,
Please, please.
I didn't want to talk much about Moi University or any institution,
Okay.
but now I'm forced to. If you go to student center, the reason we have TVs there is not to display them. It is a student center. It's for you as a student to go and access news that is, if you're not able to have it in your room. The reason we have a library, a collection of books, is to come and do research, is to come and seek information. The magazines my learned friend Wanundire is talking about are in the library.
Are they there in your local?
Newspapers are there too.
No, I'm talking about. I'm advocating for that person.
I wish
to
you could defend me. I wish you could defend me. I wish you could defend me. I wish you could defend me and finish.
Let us not use Moi
allow me to
University.
finish.
Talk of Turkana.
Allow-
Talk of Alego.
It's okay.
If we go to a Lego, for example, I want to use what he has just said. If we go to a Lego, for example, let us go to local schools. In those local schools, we have teachers who are employed by the government, who are paid by the government. They do their duties, and currently, the government is providing free textbooks for schools. All schools registered by the government. It means as much as we're so much local, as much as so deep into the villages, but the government
You are talking about
Sam, let me say
we are not talking about the students. These people are arguing, defending talking about students.
Hold
We are
on,
talking
hold
about
on,
that
hold on.
person who never went to school.
Hold down.
1 second, Sam.
Just a minute, I'm giving you a chance. Here we are talking about youth, people who are learned. We're talking about youth and job, youth and financial freedom. Now, when you are a youth and you are learned, you must seek information. Do you expect the government to bring you the newspaper, or you go look for the newspaper? If you answer that,
Some the Bible says those who do not work should not.
What I said is, for every institution that is there claiming to be protecting youth, claiming to be having funds that belong to youth, opportunity that belong to youth, let there be a youth there who is mandated to ensure that the information that is there, the opportunities are there, reach local people. That was I was saying.
Sam,
shortly.
the simple academic opulence definition of the term a youth, according to the Kenyan context, is that a youth is a collection of individuals who are between age 18 and age 34. This is a person who at a point has got a smartphone, if not a phone. If this person cannot access magazine, can this person not again access the phone? the reason why
Shamba
we are
boys are also
ignorant
youth.
is that
Shamba boys are also
You
youth.
exhausted your time.
we use our phones to watch movies, we use our phones to watch soap operas, but we don't use our phones for acquiring information. And again, Sam, the term empowerment, I had my friend Ndira was talking about. Empowerment is actually giving somebody an opportunity to work by himself so that he can have a sustainable life.
Not opportunity,
And
empowerment is
actually-
not opportunity.
and
Capability,
actually-
capacity building. You
And
build
actually,
me,
the
you
government
train
is
me.
giving that. We are starting from
Opportunity
education to
is not
say.
empowerment.
Now,
Yes.
you guys are running out of time.
These people are talking about Congress, they are not talking about youths.
Hold down now. You exhausted your time. And let's now take this matter away from youth and economy and youth and education. Let's now talk about a little of national politics. And you've been seeing what is going on. We had a by-election at Kiamba where UDA won. And going by the statistics and going by what we observe in Keleweke side and Tangatanga side, do you people see this country headed back to 2007, 2008 post-violence election? To start with you, Mr. Kola.
Thank you so much. First, according to me, I feel that the country will not go back to the 2007, 2008 post-election violence because of these reasons. Okay. One, our people witnessed what happened in 2007 and 2008, and no man in his sane state will accept to involve in such acts again, bearing in mind the losses we received. Two, I want to tell you, Sam, that between 2017 and where we are now, Kenya has experienced the most stable condition of political temperatures. And that is why you saw handshake. Actually, somebody like me, I'm supporting handshake 100%. It stabilized our politics. Currently, we don't have us versus them. We don't have us versus them. And a few elements like Keleweke and Tangatanga who are coming in to bring some two opposite sides. Their political moments are going to end before 2022. Take it to the bank. So I do believe that after 2022, there is not going to be any violence, and this is going to be the most peaceful election ever.
Ondire, do you support the same?
Let me talk of, maybe and maybe not. Why should we have a fear of a post-election violence? Kiamba by-election meant that people have started to create another belief. The problem will come whereby a political godfather will tell the nation, will tell the unemployed youth, will tell these brainwashed youth that tumeibiwa. A war will start.
Who is this godfather you are referring to?
Have said a political godfather, whether it's coming from another coalition or no, a political godfather will tell people that our votes, there have been shambolic results. But if that will not happen, if any person who will lose the election will accept the results, then we are not going back there. But when you talk about handshake and 2017 to 2021 being the best political stability that we ever had and the atmosphere, no, as versus them is still there. Immediately after the handshake, the talks was that we are for peace, another person is campaigning up and down, trying to manipulate the peace or trying to tell people different objectives that we have.
So for you, since 2017 to now, do our country experience a peaceful political atmosphere?
There is peaceful because the opposition is no longer there. Okay. There is peace because the opposition
do you enjoy it yourself?
I personally enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want a nation without opposition?
I enjoy peace, but there is no product of that peace.
Okay. What's your take?
Thank you very much. When you talk of 2017, I'm so bitter. And I wish all of us
But that was not the question, remember. That was Okola coming up with 2017 and 2021. That was not the question. The question was about...
Maybe that is how it's packaging it. Give him time, please.
I wish.
Okola has created another question.
Actually, Sam, you must tell Undire.
You talked about post-election
how to
violence.
answer questions.
You talked about post-election.
should not tell people how
Repeat
to
your
answer
question.
questions.
Repeat your question.
You don't teach someone how to answer the
Yeah,
question.
No, you talked about post-election violence.
Maybe ample time.
Then they are talking about peace. They are talking about hardship, which is so bad.
And you are not going to answer. And you are not going to answer according to his thoughts. Anyway.
Proceed, please.
I wish we could look at 2007 post-election violence and post-22 with a very sober heart. When we are talking of 2007, it was very dear, painful for the country. The reason we went for post-election violence in 2007 was a symbolic election. It was very clear for everybody, plus the opponents, that Raila's victory was stolen.
We are not here to mention names.
So if Raila's election was stolen, the Raila's people, those who supported Raila's ideology, those who supported the Pentagon, those who supported the Orange Democratic Movement, felt that no, this is not what we expect, and this is not what
Must the result be what you expect?
the results need to be what you expect after very nitty-gritty analysis.
Okay.
If you look at the country, we have what is called numbers. If you look at the country in 2007, for example, 5 out of 8 predominantly was for ODM.
Where do you get that? Where do you get that statistics?
How did you know?
I wish
That
you
they
could
were
give me
for
time, then I could answer
okay,
all
okay,
this.
okay.
Because my vote, my choice, and my secret.
If you look at 2007, Nyanza region was purely orange region. Because the Nyanza kingpin was Raila Amolo Odinga. He was in ODM. If you go to Western Province, was purely orange. The kingpin then in Western Kenya was Mudavadi, was in ODM. If you go to Rift Valley, the kingpin of the Rift Valley in 2007 was none but William Samoei Ruto, was in ODM. If you go to Eastern Mount Kenya, that was where we have the Meru people. We had Joe Nyaga. By then, he was the kingpin of that region, was in ODM. If you go to eastern part of Kenya, where we had Kalonzo, had his own party, ODM Kenya, he stood. If you come to Nairobi, predominantly was ruled by Raila Amolo Odinga, and predominantly, when I talk about predominantly, that is 50% and above. How many counties? How many provinces are those? More than 5 by population.
We are 8.
My question, did they vote?
By population.
It's well.
If you look at if you look at how votes were trickling in,
So do you see the post-728 post-election violence coming back in 2022 election?
That was
I
the
don't
question.
see. I don't see.
Okay.
The reason I don't see is this. When we talk of revolutions, revolutions happen in small blocks. Revolutions happen consistently. Revolutions happens after serious issues have happened in a given environment. And as the country stands today, we have no small installments, we have no small blocks, we have no stringy issues that is affecting the country. Mark you, on 9th March 2008, we had an handshake that brought together the two lovebirds, the two brothers, Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta. They shook hands. And remember, by 9th March 2018, we only had 2 presidents in this republic. We had the people's president, Raila Amolo Odinga,
That is what is going to create another war.
we had the
Constitution allows only one
we
president.
had the president of the Republic of Kenya is ignorant of this. Makiu, we had
Not ignorant.
we had
It is the same
we
thing that
had-
is going to create violence.
we had the People's Assembly. The reason Raila was not taken to court and was not prosecuted is because,
Apologize.
I mean, come on, is because we had the People's President constituted with the People's Assembly, which is allowed in the Constitution. we have
Which laws did
we
People
have
Assembly pass?
we have county
Did they pass the
assembly,
law?
we have county
Did
assembly,
they pass the
we
law?
have
What
county
is the role of assembly? What is the role of assembly?
Sam, a minute.
Were there laws passed?
I wish you
Hello,
could
hello.
take
Hold on,
Were there laws passed?
I'll allow him to finish his
Were there laws passed? What is the role of assembly?
Sam,
What is the role of
Sam.
assembly?
This is what you will do in my show.
What is the role of
You
assembly?
hold down. If you're done,
No, we
Yes.
feel bad when
Sam, I
things
told
are
you
not-
before
The way
that
they
you
are.
must look into ways of taming Undiri before we continue.
What is the role of assembly?
Now, I want to tell you this. Mheshimiwa Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta.
No, the question was this. Let me answer the question. Let me make it sound. The question was, my friend, the question was, are there probabilities of repetition of what happened in 2007? And I said, there are no probabilities, but there will be. If one political godfather will tell his people that Tumeibiwa or the person in Mwizi, there will be.
So let me finish, Sam.
And it starts by the way these people are talking about people's assembly, people's president.
I said, Sam.
That's not private violence.
Sam, this
he
was
was making some point. Allow him to finish, then I get.
they cut me short.
Okay.
It was my time.
I know.
It's okay. It's okay.
I will talk. I will buy part of your minutes.
Okay.
I was saying that His Excellency Honorable.
Answer the
Kenyatta-
question. Will there be a violence? That was the question.
I had answered that. Ondira, you are not going to direct me on what to do here.
That was the question.
Let
This
me
was not
speak.
answering questions.
Let me speak.
Yeah.
I'm saying that
You don't get people to answer the question.
Yes.
Not answering question.
What you
If the
really must
question
know,
was there was,
what you really must know, sir,
or no,
is
you don't
that
talk about it.
Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta
Yes, please.
is the sitting president of the Republic of Kenya, and the Kenyan citizens are not having the problem, any problem, with Raila being the people's president. They don't have.
We have very
They
big
don't
problems.
have.
We have.
Why? Because Raila Odinga is the only human being on earth who can
Now
command
see.
a big
Now
number
see.
and they
Now
respond.
see, this is somebody pursuing a degree,
True.
talking about Raila being the only person.
True,
How
I
will
want to
that
say,
come up
I want to
with
say,
it? How will
okay,
he reason?
okay, degree does not mean that I must now glorify tyranny. Yeah, degree being that I'm pursuing degree doesn't allow me glorify tyranny. I will speak my mind to the best of my knowledge and ability. Ondiri, you must know
Don't
this.
be partisan.
Ondiri, you must understand this. Kenya has never enjoyed the sweetest political environment like now. Just because of what we Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta decided to do.
Why
Why are you against something?
The only atmosphere that Kenya was to enjoy was after the post-election violence. The mediation that Kofi Annan was the person who officiated between Raila Odinga and Mwai Kibaki. That was the official mediation. But this handshake, there's nothing we are enjoying from it. There's nothing we are enjoying from
Can't
it.
you make peace by yourself?
There was the economy recovery committee. Raila Odinga was among them.
Answer this question. Don't start speaking for yourself and answer it. So we had mediation by Kofi Annan there. He brought peace to Kenya.
Yeah.
Now there was another crisis in Kenya. But the peace was brought in by the two rivals, Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga.
There was no conflict.
There was. Come on. Why is
What was the nature of the conflict? What was the nature of conflict? Raila felt that now that I had sworn in myself as people's president, I have got people's assembly. There's no laws we are going to pass here. There's nothing I'm going to gain.
You are not going
So
to
he felt that.
Okay.
Let me go and ask for forgiveness. I enjoy. Opposition is nice. I'm gaining nothing from opposition.
Some people like Ondiri
Ask
would wish
me.
that our country
Ask these people. Ask
in
these
Rango will say
people. No,
them,
ask
and
these
that is
people. Ask these people. After handshake, what have you gained from Luanya?
let me tell you one.
What have you
Sam,
gained?
let me finish. Sam, let me finish. Sam, let me
There are
finish.
projects that are in theories, they are in papers, they are not
Sam,
in
let me
ground.
finish.
They are
Sam, let
just
me
projects in
finish.
papers.
Now I'll allow him to.
Sam, let me finish.
Handshake was just Ruto to fight.
Sam, let me finish.
Ondiri,
Is that peace?
Sam, let me finish.
Can you give a lot of
Sam, I wish my camera can trim this guy away.
Sam, let me finish.
Anyway.
Let me finish. Democracy is a rule of the people, by the people, and for the people. The Constitution of Kenya says, for you to become a president of a Republic of Kenya, you must have 50% plus one vote.
Uhuru Kenyatta did that, managed that.
50% plus one vote to mean you have the majority of the Republic of Kenya. You need not to have everybody to be declared the president. But once you won the elections, as a leader, you need to bring all these people together to move forward as a people. You getting it? That is the reason in 2017, after Uhuru was declared the president, we went to court as members of NASA. I was member of NASA. The court led by the president of the Supreme Court, my learned friend from Kisii, and the court, the Supreme Court said, the election was null and void. The court said, we need to go for a repeat election. 20th October 2017.
Did your team go?
I mean, I wish you could allow me to finish.
Did your team go?
It's a question. Just answer the question.
They didn't go. They
Why?
didn't participate. The reasons are this.
Now proceed.
We felt that the environment, the atmosphere was not conducive for us to go for an election. These are the reasons. The same IBC that conducted a shambolic election was the same IBC that was going to conduct this election. And therefore, we could not go to such an election if the same person that made us go for a shambolic eletion is repeating the same thing.
So
For example, today, if we have a presenter like yourself who is shambolic, who doesn't know how to ask questions, who doesn't, for example, who doesn't know how to moderate his members, who doesn't know how to tell Mondire, who doesn't know how to give me time.
No, you can't tell me that.
How will I be comfortable to come back to such an interview if you doesn't know how to do your work? I won't be convinced to come back here unless you really prove. So IBC did not prove. People like Akombe went away because they felt the IBC was not constituted like it was. So we felt, let us give them time. And we gave them time. So let me come back to the question. There is no post-election.
I was thinking he was going to talk about I think he was going to talk about Raila telling them to boycott Bitcoin. Why are you not mentioning such things?
There is no post-election violence after 2022. These are the reasons. There is going to be a free, clear and credible election. Because if you do your political analysis, if you look at how the country is situated, in Kenya, we have to accept this. That is why when I was reading on world politics and how world politics was being shaped, I read on realism. I read on shaping politics. And when I bring this to current situation, I'll analyze Kenya, I'll read its politics and say there's an automatic winner. Raila will beat these people in the morning. Listen. And when Raila will listen.
After that is disappointment. Then after Raila failing, Raila will tell them the election are shambolic. From that perspective, these people will go to street, and that will again bring us back to 2007.
I'm a teacher of English and literature. I'm a teacher of English and literature. Give me one.
So literature tells you that Raila will win.
I'm a teacher of English and literature. In school, when I was in primary, when I was in high school, by the way, I learned Maranda Boys. I was taught by Bwana Jairo. He told me, as a good student, you must be a good listener. Listen, then respond. And while responding or interjecting, interject very carefully.
That was your teacher.
And remember, in 2011, Mwanza Owino was the best teacher in the Republic, and he was taken to Italy.
That one will not make Kenya to fail.
Let's come back to Kenyan context. Let us come back to Kenyan context. Professor Mutai Ngunyi and greatest philosophers will tell you, for us to go for a revolution, a post-election violence is like a revolution, if they didn't know.
The violence is not revolution. I object that.
And revolution always involve violence. Look at revolutions in the world.
So agrarian revolution involved violence.
Agrarian revolution was talking of political. We are talking of political revolution.
It must not involve violence.
Now, if you want to talk of reality,
a revolution involves violence.
If you want to talk of reality, look at serious world revolutions politically.
Okay.
Kiambaba election was a revolution.
That was not a revolution.
It was a
That was a
revolution.
by-election where a member of
Define a revolution. Define a revolution.
That was a member of parliament
When I
passed
say-
on.
a revolution
Member of
just
parliament passed on because of COVID-19. After passing on, because of constitutional requirement and representation, we have to go for a
Define revolution.
by-election.
Define revolution.
Listen to this.
Please.
Define revolution.
Listen to this. I want to
If
define.
I move this chair from here to there, that's a simple definition of revolution. I must not even fight you. I must not fight you.
Okay.
Revolution does not involve wars. Post-election value is not a revolution.
Currently we have
Mediation is a...
currently we have UDA very strongly rooted in Kenya already as an alliance, right? As a party.
Even yesterday it was also launched in Boston, not only in Kenya.
It's well, I know, it's well, for the diaspora group.
Yeah.
Well, so I know there's already an organized party waiting to endorse their presidential candidate for 2022. Do you see NASA coming up again, or another alliance is probably will be formed to counter it?
Raila has got two. Okay.
Thank you so much.
And don't interrupt. If you interrupt,
If he talks of lies,
Some, next time you are inviting me, please coach the panelists.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to say this.
Summarily, because we are running out of time.
Summary.
And
I want
please
to say
answer the
that
question.
in 2022, UDA will present their presidential candidate alongside other aspirants. I want to say that NASA today, the core principles of NASA are speaking different languages.
Yeah, sure.
Look at Moses Wetangula, he's speaking a different language. Look at Kalonzo Musyoka, speaking a different language. And now
In 2022, there will be change of players. We'll be having new signings. Like if you check football, we'll be having signings from Britain, having signings from
Changing players
Kenya,
for the
changing players.
Same team or different team now.
If for football, it can be for the same team because they'll be consistent of what is happening because we have a coach that will be guiding.
Alright.
But for politics, when different players come in place, they come with different ideas. When these ideas are brought together, for them to be moving in the same direction with the political parties, we need to have parties and we need to have alliances. So in 2022, I'm predicting very different and new alliances. Taking
All right. Do you think Mukisa Kitui has anything to do with Western? Can it interfere with the Western bloc? Just in 1 minute. Yes, please.
If Mudavadi can't manage that, who is he? The so-called, I don't know how to pronounce it. But to do with alliance, what I know, Kalonzo, Wetangula, Mudavadi, they'll always speak their minds. They are seeking attention. They are not speaking their mind. They are seeking attention. At long last, Raila is also greed for power. Raila will form another alliance, or these people, they will come together eventually. So there is, when you talk of alliance, what I can say that Raila will have presidential flag there.
All those people.
And these people, whether they talk from morning to evening, they'll at one day find themselves below Raila Odinga. And they are going to lose terribly.
according to me, actually, Mutisa Kitui is just a political experimenter who junketed into a political arena for mere publicity. Actually, to be a presidential candidate, my brother, it is not only anchored on the depth of the pocket, but it needs charisma. The gentleman lacks it. According to me, Mutisa Kitui, his name will not even appear in the ballot.
Okay.
Yes.
And to end up this show, that's an amazing show.
Let me say something about Mukisa Kitui.
In a 1 minute time.
Mukisa Kitui is a veteran politician. If you read history, 92 to 2002, Mukisa Kitui was a key player in Western politics.
Okay.
He has been a member of parliament 2 times.
Okay.
But currently, you see, there's something that is always said, read the signs of the time. It is not for Mukisa Kitui.
Okay.
His politics can't play today. He's only brought in the play maybe to shift power, maybe to balance power. But I want to agree with him and him, Mukisa Kitui will be nowhere in 2022. He was only testing the depth of the waters, and he has found the depth of the waters very deep for him to stand. Therefore, he has already been washed away.
We want to get to a final take. You have 2 seconds, please, before we end up the show.
Thank you so much, Sam. Actually, I want to tell my fellow Kenyan youth one thing. Let us not allow politicians buy our opportunities in the name of handouts. Today, if a politician gives you 200 shillings and you vote in a poor leadership structure, then can you divide 200 shillings with 5 years and tell me per day what are you going to take? What are you going to get? You are going to get an amount which cannot even buy a belt.
Okay.
So let us actually come back to our senses, show up, then don't stop sabotaging our own opportunities. Thank you.
Different. Your last take.
My last take is that let me tell Kenyan youth that it shall be well one day. However much we are undergoing depression, frustration, disappointment, it shall be well one day. And it shall be well when one day we will move ourselves, distance ourselves away from these political godfathers. We form our own umbrella, we reason together, then we build ourselves together. If that will happen, something magical will happen. To all our Muslims, I want to say that Kulu, Wantum, Biklei, Eid al-Mubarak. Asanteni sana.
Thank you. To our Kenyan youth, I think it is our time. 2022 is closely approaching. I want and I really wish from the bottom point of my heart, let us participate in the coming election at the position of voters, at the position of candidates, and I'm very certain if we participate, by the end of this, we're going to be the leadership part. We're going to be the ruling class. And our youth, let us not sleep. Let us be the lions in the field. Remember, we are the larger population. Asanteni sana, Mungu abariki Kenya.
Thank you so much for watching the show. This has been a panel talk here on the Ocean News. If you're watching this show for the first time, remember to subscribe, you can share, and don't forget to comment. My name is Sam Somotieno. Until next time, bye bye for now.
The Ocean News for comprehensive feature stories.